right, here we go. 12.1. Today we're going to do a couple different things. First, we're going to talk about adding and subtracting matrices. After we talk about adding and subtracting matrices, we're going to get into a little bit of matrix equations. But let's start with just the adding and subtracting first, okay? When you add and subtract matrices, they need to be the same dimension. So I'm going to say must be same dimension. So it has to be a 2 by 3 added to another 2 by 3. It's the only way to add them together. Okay? The second thing is when you are adding or subtracting them, you simply add or subtract the same elements. So, for example number 1. I know, right? For example number 1, if I had the matrix 3, 1, 7, negative 4, and I added it to the matrix 5, 0, 9, negative 2, if I want to add those together, first of all, the first one is a 2 by 2, and the second one is a 2 by 2. When I add them together, our end result is also going to be a 2 by 2. Exactly. All right. So all this means is that we are adding the same elements together. So I am going to add 3 plus 5. Gives us 8 for the first spot. The next one, the A12 spot, we have 1 plus 0. 1, very good. Doing great. Then row 2, we're going to have the 7 plus 9, which is 16. And in the last spot, negative 4 plus a negative 2 is negative 6.
I thought I said it wrong for a second. When you said negative 4, I was like, wait a minute. Oh, I did.
Yeah. Okay. So it's when you're adding them together, that's all you have to do is add the same elements together. That's it. Oh. Okay. Example number 2. Let's say I have 3, 1, 5, negative 2, negative 7, 4, and I subtract 1, negative 1, 5, negative 6, negative 9, and 3. So again, my first one is a 3 by 2, right? 3 rows by 2 columns. The second one is also a 3 by 2, which means my end result will be a 3 by 2. All right, so here we go. In the first spot, I do the same thing with the elements. I have 3 minus 1 is 2. Go over to column 2. I have 1 minus a negative 1. Careful. 2. Yes, exactly. That's why a lot of times you'll notice I write it like really small above so that I don't miss or lose any of those signs. It can get kind of tricky once in a while. Next one, we have in the A21 spot, we have 5 minus 5, which is 0. Very good. Here we have negative 2 minus a negative 6. Awesome. Last row, we have negative 7 minus a negative 9. And in the very last spot, we have 4 minus 3, 1. Questions on adding or subtracting them? Do we need more examples of either of those? All right, so let's move on. Oh, you're not going to, we're just adding matrices together. You don't have to worry about putting in a system or anything, okay? Okay, anybody else? No. No? Any other questions? And again, remember, when you add and subtract, they have to be the same dimensions. So there is one on your homework today that is not, so pay attention, okay? You just put no solution because you can't do it. Yeah, exactly. Not what I said. All right, so now let's talk about matrix equations. When I say a matrix equation, that means that there is a missing part or a missing matrix or a missing part of a matrix. It could be one or the other, okay? So, for example, if I have 1, 3, 2, 5 minus x equals -7, 9, 2, and 0. Nope. Okay. We need to figure out what matrix X is to make this work, right? What? Go ahead, Emily. Okay. So what I recommend you do, the best way over the years I have found for everybody to be successful, is we are going to actually write little mini equations for each spot. So for this first spot in our matrix, we're going to do 1 minus x equals -7. Just trust me. So solving this, I would subtract 1 from both sides. So I have -x equals -8. So x equals 8. That's the answer to the first spot. Okay? Then I'm going to do the next equation. 3 minus x equals 9. Subtracting 3 to the other side, I have -x equals 6, so x equals -6. Doing the second row, we have 2 minus x equals 2. What does x equal for this one? Good, x equals 0. And in the last one, we have 5 minus x equals 0. Subtracting 5 over, we get -x equals -5, so x equals 5. So my final answer is that x equals the matrix 8, -6, 0, 5. Okay? I have found, and you guys are saying that's too much work, I can just do it in my head. I'm telling you, I found over the years when you try and do it in your head, you miss negatives, you add and subtract incorrectly because there is so much going on. Little mini equations is what I want to see, okay? They're super easy equations, but once you write it down, things make more sense. All right? So here's example number 3. No. Good try, though. Could be. Yeah, for sure, but might be 4. We'll see. Example number 3. Let's say I have the matrix 1, 2, 0, 5, 7, 4 equals 1, 3, 5, 9, 1, 2. Whoops, 1, 2. I'll put a 2 here. Minus x. Again, we got to figure out what x is.
It's a number. It's actually more than one number.
Right. We're going to do the exact same thing we just did, solving for x. And our answer has to end up to be a 2 by 3. Yes. Huh? Say that again? We're using the whole thing. We're going to use the whole thing. So when we start off using that first spot, I'm going to take this 1 equals the 1 in the first spot minus x. So I subtract the 1 over, right? I get 0 equals x. So I'm going to put my matrix down here. My first answer to my matrix is 0. Next spot, I'm going to do the 2 spot right here. So I have 2 equals 3. 3 minus x. Subtract 3 over, I get negative 1 equals negative x, so x equals 1. Put that right here. The next one I'm going to do is this corner, the row 1, column 3. 0 equals 5 minus x. Good, x equals 5. Again, once you see it written like this, it's easy. It's when it's all in that big jumbled mess that it makes it hard. All right, let's do row 2. We have 5 equals 9 minus x. So we're going to subtract 9 over. We get negative 4 equals negative x. So x does equal 4. Next spot, we have 7 equals 1 minus x. Subtracting 1 over, we get 6 equals negative x. So x equals negative 6. And the very last spot, we have 4 equals 2 minus x. Subtracting 2 over, 2 equals negative x, so x equals negative 2. Okay, I want to see, there's only a few of these, I want to see those little equations. It's going to help you, I promise. It will. All right, here is example number 4. In example number 4, sometimes the equations happen within the matrix. Inside of the matrix. So what I mean is, if I have a matrix, let's say 3, x minus 2, 7, and y plus 5 equals 3, 9, 7, negative 2. And I want you to find x and y. So you'll notice, what do you notice about the A11 spot in both of them? They're equal, right? Because the matrices are equal. So that means that we can take A12 and set it equal to A12 over here. So I have x minus 2 equals 9. X equals 11, exactly. Let's look at row 2. You'll notice 7 equals 7, which also means that y plus 5 equals what? And then you just solve for y. Yep, that's all you need to do. I have 2 of them that are like that on the worksheet. Yeah, it's a toughie. Okay, any other questions? Would you guys like to try the worksheet? Let's do it. Yes, let's give it a shot. Yes, it is. If you think Gabe's going to actually watch.
I'll make him watch.
Well, you can say hi to Brooke, too, at the same time.
Oh, gamer. Gabe, Brooke, better listen to this. It's from your boy Timmy. See ya.